Hi, my name is Christina, and I will be presenting Chapter 20, Telephony. Telephones are an important part of today's society, enabling us to communicate over vast distances. People all over the world use cell phones. In today's society, we rely heavily on cell phones for information such as breaking news, the weather, or even how to find a favorite eatery. I myself use my cell phone for breaking news, especially if my husband is gone, deployed, or in the field somewhere. I like to keep up with what's going on to make sure that he's safe. Americans especially seem to be attached to their cell phones, often sending text messages, calling friends or family, posting to Facebook, or even playing games. Telephones, whether wired or wireless, have and continue to evolve since their inception. Let's start by taking a look at the history of telephony, starting with Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone in 1876. While it's true that Bell gets all the credit for the invention of the telephone, there were many other inventors who were also working on the same technology. Graham was able to secure his patent before anyone else, having been the first to design and patent a practical device for transmitting the human voice by means of an electric current. Elisha Gray, a rival inventor, filed for his patent just a few hours after Bell, entitled Transmitting Vocal Sounds Telegraphically. Bell's entry to the patent office was the fifth one of the day, while Gray's was 39th, allowing Graham to secure the patent. Talk about a day late and a dollar short. Bell went on to form Bell Telephone Incorporated in 1877, which today is known as American Telephone and Telegraph, or as we know it, AT&T. AT&T was built to become a centralized monopoly by buying smaller phone companies and creating a transcontinental phone line. AT&T remained the largest phone company until September 1995, when AT&T announced a restructuring that would amount to the largest voluntary breakup in the history of American business. AT&T remained a communications service company, with Lucent Technologies taking over systems and equipment, and NCR becoming a computer company. In October 2000, AT&T said it would restructure into a family of four separately traded companies for its consumer, business, broadband, and wireless operations. In the present day, AT&T is one of three big companies that offer many services to their customers, such as cable, landline, and wireless communications and internet. Next, let's take a look at POTS and digital telephony. Plain old telephone service, or POTS, is a voice-grade telephone service. It continues to be the basic form of home and small business service connection to telephone networks around the globe. The computerization of telephone exchanges in the 70s and 80s made features such as voicemail, call waiting, caller ID, enhanced 911, Centrex, and speed dialing available to its subscribers. The extensive availability of POTS allowed new forms of communication devices, such as modems and facsimile machines, to use POTS for digital information transmission. Telephony continued evolving from rotary phones to push-button phones to Voice over Internet Protocol, or VoIP. The FCC recommended VoIP as a cheap and easy way to make international calls, utilizing services such as Skype and FaceTime. People use Skype and FaceTime often to communicate by video to people all over the world. When my husband was deployed to Iraq, we utilized Skype a lot instead of using the phone, because buying phone cards was expensive, and it only allowed us to talk for a few minutes at a time, versus using Skype where I could actually see my husband, he could see me, he could see our children, and we could verify to each other, that we were all doing well and he was well and he was safe. And that allowed us to get through the deployment, being able to see him periodically instead of just hearing him on the telephone. The birthplace of the mobile phone happened in April 1973 when Motorola engineer Marty Cooper made the first call from a real handheld portable cell phone, a point that he made clear during his historic conversation with the head of rival research firm Bell Labs. Since that fateful call 4 decades ago, mobile phones have evolved dramatically. Mobile phones started out as bulky and were called the brick because they weighed almost 22 pounds. That's about 5 times the weight of today's cell phone. It has taken many years through trial and error to get the cell phone to the slim design that it is today. While the size fluctuates depending on the user's preference, these magical portable technology boxes have become a crucial part of interpersonal communication, and their significance will only continue to increase as time goes by. Cell phones began to transition from bulky to slender when smartphones were introduced. On the market now, there are many smartphones a user can choose from. It just depends on what it is that they're looking for and what they're looking for their cell phone to do for them. Smartphones can be defined as a handset that can also function, at least to some extent, as a computer. It has an operating system just like a computer, and you can use it as a phone, an entertainment center, email to and from it, and work on documents you download to it from your computer and upload them again. BlackBerry made a splash in the smartphone market because of its use of the QWERTY keyboard, allowing users to type their messages out faster and efficiently. BlackBerry's main consumer base has been business and corporate owners, as well as top military and political officials, with President Obama leading the pack, being a loyal BlackBerry user and refusing to give up his BlackBerry when he was elected as president and he was moving into the White House. In recent years, BlackBerry has been lagging behind in terms of technology as well as its sales in favor of the newer competition that has come out, such as Apple and Samsung, that utilizes touch screen technology. The market is wide open for smartphone technology and will continue to grow as the competition becomes fiercer, with each company trying to outdo the other in terms of technology and affordability. Apple and Android each enjoy record-breaking sales every time they introduce a new phone to their eager consumers. Assisting the market penetration of smartphones was the introduction of high-speed 4G networks and Wi-Fi availability for cell phones. The ability to purchase goods and pay bills using the cell phone and high-speed networks adds to the attraction of the smartphone. I received my first smartphone in 2009, and it was an iPhone. I tend to be partial to Apple products as I like the operating system and the functionality versus Samsung, Android, which I feel drops calls. It takes forever to send a text message, and in my opinion, Android has become a little bulkier and bigger versus iPhones. It's not as big as the Android, and so it's a little better in portability. With cell phone gaining in popularity, the use for landlines has become obsolete, with many consumers opting to cut the cord, so to speak. For me and my family, we have both a landline and we also have cell phones. That way, if like during a storm or for whatever reason one goes down, we always have a backup so that if we have an emergency, we can call and communicate with a responder. While there are many advantages to having a cell phone, such as portability and ease of use as far as surfing the internet, etc., there are some drawbacks to having a cell phone. In this generation, with more and more young people using smartphones and they're always on the go and eager, they always want things at their fingertips fast, quick. Problems are bound to occur. One of the biggest and dangerous issues that are born out of cell phone use is texting while driving. This is especially the case for teenagers to mid 20-something young adults. Instead of waiting to return a text or a phone call, they will call and they will text while they're driving, feeling like they're invincible, like they can't get into an accident, and this is often met with disastrous results. Many states have implemented legislation that makes it illegal to use a cell phone without a hands-free device, and some states have even taken a step further that you cannot text at all if you're behind the wheel. Another factor to watch with cell phone use is security, especially because we use our cell phones for banking and other miscellaneous things. It is easy to click on the wrong link and download a virus to your phone. A Yahoo Tech report that was dated February 20th showed that Android had a malware on its network that could spy on the user even if your phone is turned off. That is really scary to me because you're not safe even when your phone is turned off. So you have to be very careful when you're clicking on links, even if they're from people you know. With more users choosing their cell phones for everyday needs and bypassing the computer, the need for security software will need to grow and evolve to protect its users. Cell phones are instrumental in our everyday lives. I rely heavily on my iPhone and I use its browser to check my email, text my children and husband throughout the day, as well as I like to play trivia crack. It's one of my favorite pastimes. While cell phones make our lives easier, do you think that cell phone usage dependability will have a positive or a negative effect on users in the future? Thank you.